So, there you have it. The Penguins are on the outside looking into the Stanley Cup playoffs right now. The Panthers have superseded them. They've got 1 point. They have the same number of games played. So this is dicey for Pittsburgh. We've talked about Florida and how impressive their run has been. This was a team that looked like they were out of it about a month ago. They knew they were going to be without Spencer Knight, and it was going to fall on Bobrovsky. Well, they've done everything well, and that's good for them. But let's talk about Pittsburgh now. We haven't quite done our diligence on what's going on with Pittsburgh. How do you explain what's happening there and why they haven't found any consistency?
You know, I don't know that they were getting the goaltending they were getting at kind of peak periods during this 22-23 campaign. You know, I think the offense, they look a little disjointed up front. I don't know that the offense is coming as we've seen it come in past times. I mean, 4th regulation loss after dropping one tonight to the Ottawa Senators. I think they now dropped to 4-5-1 over their last 10. Does Pittsburgh, and this is a critical sector of the schedule to be kind of buttoning down, you know, one of the wild card spots. Or, I mean, Pittsburgh, we had, you know, in the conversation to finish higher in the Metro at the outset of the season. So I think they really are, you know, a bit of a shocker to everybody, given the personnel. Whenever we talk about Pittsburgh, we keep coming back to that core. They kept the group together. Letang, Malkin, Crosby, you know, they've got the experience, they've got the hardware, they've been there in the past, and appear to have all the elements, but it just doesn't translate to a position in the standings where they hold down one of these top 8 spots. Yeah,
it's tough times right now, and I've seen this team over the last month blow two-goal leads, back-to-back games against the team that's right above them, the New York Islanders. They haven't been able to find a way, and points in those games, they looked really good. It's been about saves. And can you get the saves? They haven't been able to get them. It's been a tough season for Tristan Jarry because he was hurt for a long time. And you come back, you are the number one, and you're the clear-cut number one. And it's tough to produce and be what your team expects coming off of an injury. And I think he's had trouble with that. But the road doesn't get any easier because you're down 4 of your defensemen right now. You've got Pettersson, Petrie, Kulikov. You've got guys out right now. And that's really difficult when you look at this. Colorado, Dallas, Grimmer, do you think there's a tougher back-to-back in the Western Conference to go on the road and play? That's as hard as it gets. So this team, that one tonight, stings the most. Obviously, you turn the page, it does not get any easier, especially against those two.
And you know, we're fond of saying, I'll take it one step further, we're fond of saying kind of as the playoffs lurk around the corner, we're fond of saying, you know, you really need to be playing your best hockey if you plan to go on a good deep run as the postseason comes around. I think you could expand it to, if you're looking to button down one of the top 8 spots in either conference, you really need to be playing something akin to what your best hockey looks like. And look at the Floridas of the world and even the New York Islanders. They've had stretches of hockey this year when they've been really up and down. They've been inconsistent. They haven't been what we as analysts have anticipated they would play, but they've sorted out their troubles, and they've kind of got it going in the right direction now. To me, given the way the Islanders are trending, and especially Florida is trending, Pittsburgh got a lot to be concerned about outside of their own camp.
I feel like we're seeing a changing of the guard as we look at the Panthers schedule. It almost feels like we're seeing the end of an era here in the larger hockey world in the Eastern Conference, because you're going to have the Capitals, I think, miss the playoffs, right? They've gone 14 of the last 15 years and 8 straight years. And then the Penguins, what is it, 16 years in a row that they have gone to the playoffs? It's the longest active postseason streak, if not the longest ever. And they might miss. I mean, can you imagine? I would never have guessed going into this season that we would see Sidney Crosby's team and Alex Ovechkin's team both miss the playoffs this year, but that might happen. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I think we see 11 and 12 games left, respectively, for these two teams. I think it's going to come down to 1 or 2 games left before that picture is really crystal clear. And I will not discount a team with Sidney Crosby and the superstars and the pedigree and the Stanley Cups to stick around long enough to give themselves a chance. This is far from over. It's just immense pain that they're feeling right now. I fail to believe that they won't be in the mix all the way to the final game of the season. I think they're going to be right there, but they're not making it easy on themselves.
Well, you're right. You have to look at the teams behind them and who wants it more. And right now it's the Florida Panthers. But a month ago we were talking about how the Panthers were cooked. So you're right. We've got time. I just get excited on a nightly basis when teams leapfrog other teams and you start thinking it's a lock. But we've still got, what, 3.5 weeks left in the season and 12 games.
There's enough runway left. And even for somebody like Pittsburgh, put a little 3-game run together, the complexion can look very different.
Look, if they get 3 out of 4 points on that back-to-back with Colorado, Dallas, we're singing their praises. We're going to This team's going to win the first round against Boston.
They've been streaky all year, too. Like, let's not forget. And if there's a group that can go win those tough games and throw some together, it's probably the Pittsburgh Penguins. But let's overanalyze tonight, and we'll give them credit when they deserve it. But for the moment, you're absolutely right.
And I promise you, as we, the media, rise and fall with these trends.
Oh, I'm right there. I ride that roller coaster.
Those inside the Penguins locker room say the narrative is block out the media. It's about the guys in the room. We'll get it done. We'll get it done.
Not missing the playoffs. The active streak is going to live on. Don't worry. I'll hear it from you on Twitter, I'm sure.